everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, February 13th, 2022. It's Valentine's Day in Genoa City, and darn tootin' there had better be some roses. I demand red and pink and white roses, and that is exactly what I got. Plus the champagne, plus the chocolate-covered strawberries, plus even some stupid heart balloons. I say cram in as much Valentine's Day kitsch as possible. Give it to me. This is the young and the restless. The viewers demand over-the-top, ridiculous romance, and we got that too. Victor bought Nikki another horse. Another horse! How many horses do they have? Perhaps one for each of their marriages? But that would be like 100 horses. That's so extravagant. I love it. Oh... Nikki in head-to-toe red was a stroke of genius. She has worn that big, chunky, plastic red belt that seems like it's straight out of the 1980s. She's worn it like 3 other times before, but I don't care. I love it. It looks good on her, and she looked phenomenal. Victoria looked like a sparkling black diamond, all expensive in her beautiful dress, and she was wearing her perfect V necklace, looked like a dagger hanging off of her neck that Ashland gave her as a Valentine's Day gift. And let us not also overlook Ms. Sally Spectra, suited up in black leather for the Valentine's Day holiday. Oh, topped it all off. I love it. I absolutely loved it. And that chocolate-covered strawberry moment between Adam and Sally was a pretty unforgettable moment, too. Let me just put this big strawberry right into my mouth, right in front of you, Adam. That's not suggestive or anything. Or wait, is it? Oh, is that inappropriate? Maybe I better just put the whole thing back in the box, dripping in slobber right next to the other strawberries. Good call, Sally. Wouldn't want to give anyone the wrong idea. Flash to next week's preview, where Adam is tossing Sally up against the office door. Ooh! So much for keeping things professional. But thank you so much for making and then promptly breaking that rule. I think 2 wrongs most definitely make something very right in this case. Adam asked Sally to become the COO of Newman Media. What an insult. Everyone knows COOs scrub the toilets in this town. The hierarchy goes Victor Newman at the top, the CEO with all the real power and all the real glory, and then COO way at the bottom, scrubbing the toilets. And there's nothing in between. Oh, but Sally as the COO, Although it's not my absolute favorite and most ideal job title for her, and it at least does squeeze the power gap between them, and if Sally and Adam are going to be working together, at least they're on a little more equal footing, and that is exactly what I asked for, so I like it. And I liked that Adam finally addressed his feelings about her to her. Adam told Sally, look, I want you to. It's true. There is something going on here. And let's get into it, but not just yet. Let's focus on being partners first, building up this business first. And okay, now that's out of the way. Let's just have sex up against the door. Let's have sex up against the office door, sex on the desk, sex on the office sofa. I mean, there is one, so why not? It better not be a dream sequence next week. It better not be. I expect whatever's going on between Adam and Sally to happen up against the door, then move over to the desk, then move over to the sofa. Not gonna lie, it's been a while since we had some good desk sex. That would be my preference, desk sex over sofa sex. Why can't Adam move back into the penthouse so that he can at least have a home sofa to have sex with Sally on too? I just feel like Adam Newman deserves to have a home. It's totally unsuitable for him to be living with Victor. Victor has entirely too much control over Adam's life. Adam needs to declare his independence. Adam needs to say, I'm moving out, Dad. I am not a teen vampire anymore. I want to live in an underground cave of my own. Steamy, dreamy for Chelsea in her purple silk pajamas. Ooh, those purple silk pajamas. Y&R was giving me all of the Valentines visual cues this week. Yes, Chelsea was in her purple silk pajamas, dreaming that Ray walks right into her hotel room at night, tells her that he is fascinated by her criminal past, and proceeds to kiss her face right off. Oh, I think that scene, that dream, took Chelsea by surprise just as much as it took us viewers by surprise. Because before that dream, Chelsea was thinking of Adam. It's all been about Adam, not Ray. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, Ray. It makes total sense. I think that Chelsea is feeling very lonely in her life. It was very well represented by Chelsea lying there alone in her big plush king-sized bed, but feeling so lonely that she ended up moving over to the couch to maybe feel a little less small. Chelsea has moved out of the penthouse and kind of into this nondescript, clean and boring hotel room at the Grand Phoenix. There's absolutely nothing in that room other than a photo of her and Connor to even indicate that she has had a past life. But maybe now Chelsea is finding some direction to get a new life, not just in her career, but in her personal life too. Ray is someone who listens to Chelsea's stories. Ray is someone who makes Chelsea feel important. And who doesn't want that? Everybody just wants to be heard, and Chelsea just wants to be heard. I actually don't think that this is part of a manipulation on Chelsea's part at this point. I think she's just genuinely grateful for the attention. And maybe Ray is going to start to feel that way too. We had this wonderful scene this week when Chelsea ran into Sharon and Ray at the coffee house and overheard part of a long overdue conversation between Sharon and Ray. Ray had confided in his wife that essentially he sees her with her family a lot right now, supporting her family a lot right now. And he has, kind of wished that he would at some point in his own life had a family of his own, that he wishes he would have had children of his own. It's actually one of the few things that we know about Ray character-wise. I mean, Ray used to be the dad to his siblings, Lola and Arturo, but yet he never really got to be a dad. He never got a chance to be the one to have his own children. And Ray confessed that sometimes those what ifs, the what might have been of it all, gives him pause sometimes. Enter Chelsea. Chelsea was eager to show off her pictures of Connor to Ray and to share stories about Connor with Ray. And yeah, maybe it was part of a manipulation, but maybe it was just that she was eager to return the goodwill that Ray had given to her. Ray lives on the ranch, and that's where Connor spends a lot of time living and playing. So there's some immediacy of a connection between Ray and Connor there, and maybe that's a connection that Chelsea will encourage, especially now that she has overheard that private conversation between Sharon and Ray. Maybe Chelsea will consciously or subconsciously, I don't know, end up ruining Ray and Sharon's marriage. Maybe Chelsea will end up, I don't know, revealing that Ray secretly is Connor's father. You never know in this world. Perhaps a long time ago, Ray donated a sperm sample, and well, now Connor has 2 fathers. So we're going to change Connor's name to Ray. Now, it's fine, because the R is for Ray, but the A is for Adam, so it's cool. From now on, Connor's going to be known as Ray Adam Newman Rosales, and if you don't mind, I would also like to add the Winters name on there, too, in honor of Neil. Dominic is sick of having these people as parents. But he's also sick. Also, he's sick. He is sick. But he's also sick of these people. No, wait, that's just me. Oh, yes, Dominic's red blood cell count is low, and the doctor has ordered a bone marrow aspiration. Now, I don't know what any of that means, but apparently it was enough to cause Devon to lose focus on getting Amanda a splashy Valentine's Day gift. Look, whatever's going to happen with Dominic is going to happen down the road. This is Valentine's Day this week, and Devon let it slip. Priorities. It's okay, though. It's okay, because I do actually really enjoy seeing Amanda support Devon. I enjoy seeing Amanda give him hugs and embraces and give him space to talk through his feelings. And she also prepared him of this perfectly messy meal. She's coming out of the kitchen all covered in flour when he finally got it together and brought her a bouquet of flowers. So she's covered in flour. He's bringing her flowers. I thought that was very quirky and clever, and I never want to forget to appreciate the passion and the chemistry between Devon and Amanda. They are always on fire. In good times and in bad, they are always on fire. And it's hard to watch a child be sick. Amanda understands that. Kids are so helpless and all you want to do is help them. But I mean, Dominic's got a crowd of lunatics hovering over him 24/7. I'm sure he's going to be fine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's not with everything that's happened on this story. Who knows? He's either going to be killed or healed. I don't know which. And I don't know who his parents are going to be when it all shakes out. But I will say, in the meantime, this week, Chance did earn back some points from me because he did a good job of trying to keep Abby calm and focused during Dominic's health crisis. And I keep thinking, well, maybe it's just that the actor is playing Chance a little too cool, because sometimes it just comes off like Chance is not caring. And I know from a character perspective that that's not true. That's not who Chance is. I wonder if it's the actor. I'm not sure. Because I also noticed this week that he was wearing his watch upside down. And Chance wears his watch with the face of the watch on the underside of his wrist. And that just drives me a little bit insane every time I see it. It's a very 80s, maybe 90s style. It's a choice. It's a fashion choice, and I respect it, but I still kind of want to reach through the screen and spin it around for him. Contrast that with Victor Newman, who took his watch off just to put it back on again during a scene. This week. It's watch week for Valentine's Day, I guess. I also think that Chance is just on the edge of something. He's still recovering. And in some ways, it feels like Chance is sort of on the edge of his own life. He's just sort of skirting the edges of his own life. He decided to do a little bit of police work this week with Ray, which Abby reluctantly supported. She loves her husband. She wants him to be fulfilled. And Chance got very excited at the idea of catching a thief. And we even got an alleyway scene of watching them try to do it. But Chance totally freaked out at the moment of truth. Chance heard a loud noise, which probably triggered his trauma, right? He was in an explosion. Most of the men around him died. So he kind of froze and ended up leaving Ray to do the bust by himself. Well, to Chance's credit, he realized in that moment that he was not ready for this yet. I mean, you can't leave your partner whistling in the wind on a job. And also, what if the thief had a gun? I mean, maybe it was a gunshot that we heard. I don't think so. I thought it sounded like broken glass or something, but it could have been a gun. I don't know. But if it were, Chance very easily in that moment could have found himself putting Abby and his family right back into a position of facing a future without him in it again. Sorry guys, I need to swing by Crimson Lights to pick myself up a tea. My voice is not clear today. While I'm swinging by Crimson Lights to pick up a tea, I'll also say hi to Mariah and Tessa. It was a brief but a big week for Mariah and Tessa because we got to see them in their new home. And they christened the place with some good old-fashioned sofa sex. Asked for and delivered. Check. Oh, but at the same time, at the exact same time, somewhere across town in a shadowy bed, Y&R also delivered some dream sex for Noah and Tessa, reassuring us that no matter what Noah might say, he has still got Tessa on the brain, whether he wants to or not. Billy is having trouble sleeping, but he is having absolutely no trouble sleeping with Lily. On the couch, that is. And by sleeping, I mean sex. Sofa sex. Lots and lots of it. Oh, I am so freaking thrilled thrilled to see the beginning of what I really hope is a true Billy Abbott evolution. Oh, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope. I really want this to be a real turning point in his character. And if that's the case, this is the biggest Valentine's Day gift of all. All week I was fascinated by the idea of Billy's battle with insomnia. I was fascinated with the hunt of what could be going on with him psychologically. Billy is a character with so much gritty history. But he is also a character with so much intriguing potential for the future. And you just mix that in with the fact that he is played so charismatically by Jason Thompson. So I just think Billy's journey to self-discovery has got to be Y&R's answer to the fans who have been asking to see Billy level up, as he put it. Level up. We're getting so much of the other things we've been asking for. I just want to believe that this is part of that too, that Billy's leveling up, that he's putting his past into the appropriate context, and that he's finding a way to move forward. This week he got down to brass tacks with himself. He had a long conversation with himself, no longer trying to hide anything. I mean, you can't hide from yourself within yourself. And the more that you try to do that, of course, the more you're going to suffer. But we see Billy hopefully coming out on the other side, having this wonderful realization that he's in a position to actually do something good. It doesn't always have to be the woe me, or it doesn't always have to be a revenge is the thing that's going to fix this. Oh, I have the quick fix to fix my life. No, it can actually be a slow and meaningful process toward actually doing something good. He had the idea to produce a podcast series to help people work through the kinds of issues that he's been working through. I think that's wonderful. That's something that can contribute something of value to the world, but also that could be very cathartic for himself as well. Honestly, I am just so impressed by this, and I'm feeling so hopeful about this. I really could have stood to stretch Billy's nighttime monologues and the search for his sleeplessness. I could have stretched it out for another week. Maybe take it in smaller bites instead, because I don't want to see a quickie reform. I don't want Billy to just tell me that he's better. I want to see it. I want to see him working through it. I want to see him working on these podcasts. And B, I do think the emotional load was a little bit much to cram into primarily one episode with the long recording and the long monologue. Jason Thompson killed it, of course. I mean, as he always does. He's always so good. But I saw a lot of criticisms of this episode, and I can see the argument that it was maybe a little too thick. I have to admit, I did cringe a little bit when Lily came down the stairs. She caught what Billy was doing, and he said, no, let me pull you in on this. Do you want to listen to me talking to myself together? And I thought, no. Unequivocally, no, I don't want to listen to your recording of you talking to yourself, but okay. I think this is a sign to the audience that not only is Billy on this personal journey, but he's on a journey with Lily. Billy's in a great place in his life. He's getting another fresh start. He doesn't want to blow it this time, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe he is going to ask Lily to marry him. I was half expecting a Valentine's Day proposal, and I wouldn't rule it out for the near future. Or maybe Billy will just continue to impress us with his podcast, turning his personal revelations into a successful business venture. Lily put Billy in charge of this multimedia partnership with Hamilton Winters. It's supposed to be some kind of joint venture between Hamilton Winters and Chancellor Industries, and I think this is another smart consolidation on Y&R's part. Lily and Billy need to have someone to work work with. Devon has this ghost company that he never goes to. We haven't seen in ages. He, barely mentions it, let alone gives attention to it. My only caution here is that I really hope we are not headed toward a merge of these two companies, like Hamilton, Winters, Chancellor Industries. Because I can't even think of what kind of crazy Franken name these writers would come up for the new company. And I refuse to say Hamilton, Winters, Chancellor Industries 5 times per Y&R Chat. But we're definitely on to something. We're moving towards something. Something's going on here with Lily, too. Lily is definitely feeling the weight of the responsibility of both Catherine and Neil's legacies. Lily sought out Nikki for some advice this week about how Catherine handled being a CEO, and we were also reminded this week that Catherine was a female CEO at a time when that was not quite so common, and I'm sure there were plenty of people who wanted to count her out because she didn't set out to be a businesswoman. It was something that happened as a result of Philip's death, and she took over, and yet she took charge and she made it her own. And I miss Catherine. See, Y&R, they've listened to some things. They really have, and they're pushing the buttons they know I want pushed. I do love Catherine. I love talking about Catherine, and I miss that old bat. Oh, yes. Nikki's advice to Lily was that Catherine would have told her to shake things up, and I think that's it. That's another little interesting tell that both excites me and also makes me very nervous. Shakeups are everything that the fans always say that they want, but don't really. We have a new Ashland. Kind of saving the best for last here. Let's end it with a poll. What do you think? First impressions of new Ashland. Do you like him so far? Do you not like him? Ooh, it's a big week. This is big news. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. YRChat.com. Give me all of your first impressions of new Ashland, what you like, what you don't like. My impression is that, well, first of all, Robert Newman is clearly very, very good. He is effortless, and yet he's very intense. He's very present in his scenes. I mean, you can really see a lot of nuance in his facial expressions. I would like to see him smile a little more. I'm convinced that he can deliver Ashland's serious side, his calculating side. I need no further convincing of that, but I am gonna need to see a little bit of fun and playfulness too. I'm gonna need to see the thing that made Victoria fall in love with him. I think Richard Burgi brought a lightness to the character that I haven't seen yet, but it's only the first week. So overall, I like him. I'm going to give him a like. I almost kind of wanted to not like him in a way, sort of, I guess, out of loyalty to Richard Burgi, and also because change is hard. But I cannot deny Robert Newman's expertise. I mean, the man is a professional, and it shows. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get everything we want out of this new Ashland. Y&R's definitely setting him up with some front and center rivalries. Right here out of the gate, we have Adam versus Ashland. The dynamic between those two has completely shifted. They used to be okay with each other. They used to be colleagues. But now Ashland is certainly asserting he and Victoria's dominance, and it kind of looks like next week Ashland and Victoria are making plans to not wait for Adam to do something wrong to get rid of him, and instead they want to just set him up to make it look like he did something wrong or to set a trap for him in some way. Basically the same idea that Billy had, that now Billy has abandoned. Victoria just took over the cause. But, yeah, the fact that we saw that preview of them saying that makes me even more eager to see Adam and Sally like stinking up Ashland and Victoria's office with their like never good enough selves. I want the stench of Adam and Sally all over that office just to tick off Victoria and Ashland. Oh. But I think where we're really going to see the intensity is in this rivalry between Ashland and Victor. I mean, we saw a lot of Victor versus Ashland this week. Y&R made very quick work of getting Robert Newman and Eric Braeden into like 2 scenes together right away, week 1. I mean, these are 2 heavy hitters of CBS daytime, and it was very interesting to see them going head to head. Victor questioned Ashland about the treatment facility in Peru, and Ashland seemed to have his answers lined up, ready to go, before he ever even got to the ranch. Ashland offered up some information about, I don't know, a friend of his got treatments at this facility, and in honor of his friend, he wanted to make a really big donation, but because it was a foreign donation, he had to do it through a shell company, yada yada, whatever. Victor wasn't buying it. I'm not buying it. The answers are too neat. And also, it's pretty clear that for Ashland, it's too much heat. I mean, like, as soon as Ashland left the ranch, we saw him go to society, and he had to, like, cool off. There was, like, so much heat up under his collar, he had to whip off his tie to let off the steam. And then Victor was continuing to grill Ashland on Valentine's Day, making very pointed remarks, so much so that Ashland realized, wait a minute, he had better reveal himself to Victoria on his own before somebody else does it for him, which is kind of what Ashland's game is. Ashland kind of always does tell Victoria the bare minimum. And it's only after he's kind of been caught. It was the same thing in and around Jesse Gaines. So I think we're going to end up seeing an increasingly desperate Ashland, willing to do anything he can do to hang on to what he has left. I think he loves Victoria. I think part of what he's maybe saying and doing and with the business is maybe on the up and up. I don't know. I just part of me thinks he does love Victoria. He's not necessarily up to anything when it comes to her or the company. That maybe it's going to be this old secret that comes to bite him again. But then again, Victoria forgave him very readily, so there must be something bigger. I mean, Victor is having him investigated, and we all know who's investigating him. Ashland got this phone call from someone in Peru saying that there was an American sniffing around for information about him. And we know it's not just any American. We know that if anybody's going to find this information, it's going to be the best lawyer in all of Genoa City, the finest amateur private investigator / ex-con. Yes, that's right. Thank you very much, Michael Baldwin, for helping us get to the bottom of this one. I know you're going to do it. My only question is, why didn't you take Lauren with you to Peru for some hot and steamy Peruvian investigation sex? Why didn't you take her with you? Instead of just leaving her in Genoa City to pour over Jack's love life for the 100th time. But who can deny that Phyllis is one beautiful conundrum? That was our quote from last week, and Jack said it. He was describing Phyllis talking to Billy, and he said that she was one beautiful conundrum. I love that description of Phyllis, because she is certainly a conundrum, but she's just so beautiful and so appealing and alluring that he can't help himself. Oh, so many people guessed that was Jack. Congratulations, Daisy, Henry, good old Marky, Jamie, Herman, Sheila, Sue W., Robin, Kamna, Sherry, and Ambreen. You guys all got it right. That's a lot of you, though. See, I'm going to give you a hard line this week. I was going to give you this line. Do unto others before they do unto you. I love that so much. That was Chelsea, though. She was recounting Anita's motherly wisdom to Ray. Do unto others before they do unto you. I thought that was so great, but I just know you guys would all guess it. And too many people guessed last week. So I'm going to give you one that I think is a little bit harder. You tell me who said this. Facts are different from feelings. Facts are different from feelings. I think that one's going to be a little tougher. But maybe you know. And if you do, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your congrats on next week's chats. You guys are always so great with your comments. Let's start out with Victoria, who says, I love the tete-a-tete between Jack and Lauren. You can really tell these two actors enjoy each other's company. I loved them visualizing Victor's face on a punching bag or a tennis ball. Fac has two cheerleaders in Amanda and Lauren. I wonder what Jack will tell Lauren at their next lunch. Yes, Victoria, you're so right. I'm so lost in plot that I didn't take a moment to just truly enjoy seeing Jack and Lauren relaxing together and giving a little State of the Union for both of their lives. I also love Lauren talking to Jack about, Michael's at it again. He thought this job was going to be easy or easy breezy retirement. Don't think so. So you're totally right. That was a great scene. I think what was maybe more in the forefront of my mind was, this is filler. This just seems like filler for Jack until Phyllis gets back. Because we also had the scene with Jack and Amanda and Billy that didn't quite lead anywhere. I thought it was going to. Amanda even mentioned Billy being at odds with himself in the past when he drug her up to the rooftop to scream from it. And I thought, ooh, does that mean we're going to be seeing Billy maybe taking a darker turn now? And no, I think at the end of the day, it just kind of like, well, we got some space to fill before Phyllis gets back. So let's just write this quick little scene. And it was nice. Both were nice. The Jack and Lauren was nice, but also the Jack, Billy, Amanda was nice too. And I don't want to dismiss that. Oh, on to hotter topics though. Robbie says, I am so into Sally and Adam. They have so much chemistry together. We have waited long enough. I'm so excited to see Sally and Adam as Genoa City's new power couple. And Catherine says, Adam and Sally are a long overdue refresh in sexy and chemistry. Played right, they could be the next Victor and Nikki, Luke and Laura. Let's hope the writers capture this and don't mess it up. Oh, that's a big statement. The next Victor and Nikki from Adam and Sally. It's an offbeat pairing, and it certainly could kind of signal. It's like Victor and Nikki are so soap classic, but maybe Adam and Sally are a couple for this century. You know, they're a little bit more modern. They're obviously both visually so beautiful together, and there's a lot there that I think can be peeled apart, as you say, if it's done right. Sherrod says yes. Sally as COO. See, now she's on a more level playing field with Adam, not his subordinate. I love it. But maybe she can design on the side. Yeah, I agree. Adam's still her boss at the end of the day, but at least he's approaching it from, he wants it to be an equal partnership, and they're in it together. But I like your point also that Sally could still be designing on the side. Well, Leslie says, ugh, I am so conflicted with these two. I think I am liking them, but I don't want to. I want Adam to be with Sharon. I also want Nick and Ray to be with Sharon, though, so maybe they could start a reality show called Brother Husbands, aka Sister Wives. Or a la Sister Wives. Yeah, that's so funny. It's just so hard to choose when everybody just, is so beautiful and wonderful. I mean, it's hard to decide who should go with who. If I had to pick Adam and Sharon or Adam and Sally, oh gosh, I'm interested in seeing where Adam and Sally go. I'm not sure if I feel it on a long term, though. I think I'm more in this as an agent of chaos. I think I more enjoy Adam and Sally as to what they're going to do to spin things around and mix things up, and I think they're very hot and sexy together short term. I feel like, I could see a reunion with Sharon down the road, but, I mean, we've already established, it seems, a little something on the side going for Nick and Sharon, so I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe the writers are thinking of this as more of a long-term pairing. Adam and Sally, Nick and Sharon, Ray and Chelsea. And I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad at all. I think that Adam and Sally being together creates something new and warms me up to both of their characters individually, too. They've created something new together, but I think it also brings something new to the individual characters, too. So we'll just, we'll let it play out. Let's let it play out, see how we feel. If at any point we're not liking it, we just say we don't like it and we're out. But Ellen says, I love them as a power couple. At least for a good while, anyway. They could be very dynamic together. And now, please figure out Adam's hair. They stopped the Jughead look. We had one day with a cool layered effect in front, and now today they've given him absolutely plastered with hair gel. No, his hair doesn't look that complicated. Let's just go with something attractive. Let it flow a little. Even I'm turning into the hair police. Okay, just had to let that out, Ellen says. I don't know what it is with his hair. I mean, he seems to have very thick hair. Maybe it's sort of thick and coarse, and maybe they have trouble getting it to do what they want to do, because they certainly do jam in the hair gel. I mean, he has got a lot of product in there. It's clear. But yeah, it's like over all this time. I mean, Mark Grossman has been in this role for, 3 years now? 2-3 years, something like that. And all this time, it just seems like they can't get his hair right. But I think what you're hitting on is it needs to be softer. It needs to kind of do its own thing. It needs to be a little more wild, like maybe just give him one of those high and tight haircuts where it's tight up on the neck and then let it be sort of messy and wild boy on top. I don't know why they don't do that. Hair police! Oh. Well, speaking of fashion, Victoria says this week we've had 2 examples of the shiny metallic fashion trend. First, Lily's shiny blue jacket was classy and trendy. And second, Abby's over-the-knee metallic boots were eye-scorching. Let's hope the wardrobe staff puts Abby's boots on ice and leaves them chilling. Diana also notes that Sharon was also wearing gold metallic sparkly boots. So this might be the new trend. Metallic sparkly. Especially when it comes to a boot. Oh, Abby's over-the-knee sparkly boots have been the talk of the chatters for 2 weeks now. And maybe we wouldn't notice it as much if it weren't that she's like with a baby in the scene. I mean, like knee-high sparkly boots plus newborn just don't really go together. If she were wearing those boots out and about, it might be a different story. But, I mean, on the overall, I don't know. It's sort of Abby. Whatever. I mean, did she have jeans on with them, too? She has her own very unique style. But Lily's jacket, we gotta talk about that, because I thought that was so shiny. It almost looked like an upholstered chair or something, but I wanted to touch it. I thought it was really cute how Devon commented on it, because men don't usually comment on the women's fashion, but he saw Lily in her jacket, and he made sure to compliment her and to try to kind of, lift her up, give her a compliment, and that went a long way with me. Well, let's talk about Lily and Billy here. T. Nicole says, I was thinking at first that we would see Billy struggling to be COO and working for Lily and getting restless. But now I'm thinking we will see Lily struggle at being CEO and dealing with a lack of self-confidence when it comes to her running Chancellor Industries. Yeah, well, yeah, I actually really like that Y&R has put a microscope on this, because I think it's common that the fans have said, well, what qualifications does Lily have to be in this CEO role? And so I think that Y&R showing Lily being just a little bit insecure, trying to find her way in the role, is their answer to that. Let's, fine. She's been put into a position that other people don't think she's qualified for. Well, let's show her going through her process of absorbing that and kind of knowing that there are naysayers around her and trying to find her own way. I think that's very relatable, and in and of itself, I think that's a really good character building move for Lily. But Naomi says, yes, Lily is flustered over a lack of office space. Catherine or Jill would have picked an office and literally upended whoever was sitting behind the desk. Get out. I need this office. Lily, being more mild-mannered, could have said, find me a conference room, carry in a couch, and install big locks on the door just in case Billy comes by. Yes, she's a different style of executive than I've ever worked for. That's very true, but it doesn't bother me. I feel okay with Lily bringing her own flair and her own style, and in terms of soap operas, Naomi, you're totally right. Oh, I love the idea of Jill or Catherine just like kicking out somebody from another office to get themselves the space. But Lily is, I guess I can relate. I think Lily is always sort of worried about everybody else around her. Again, I can relate to that. I'm always just like, is everybody else taken care of first? And I think maybe that's a little bit who Lily is. I don't need every character to be Jill or Catherine. I think this is maybe Y&R telling us and reminding us that, yeah, Lily is a different kind of leader. There are many. Well, Leslie says, we all know that Billy and Sally are going to cheat on Lily and Adam, right? As I typed that, it stuck with me that it would be so awesome if, at the same moment, Lily and Adam are cheating too. Like, scenes flashing back and forth between the two. Yikes. Okay, well, this did not occur to me, Leslie. I never thought of that. So you think Billy and Sally are going to hook up? I think a lot of people commented on and were taken back by that scene at the coffee house between Billy and Sally, realizing that they're both in a COO position now, and you interpreted that as, well, maybe that's a little bit of sexual tension going on, and maybe you're right. Maybe we are going to see Billy stealing something that Adam wants, or maybe we're going to see Adam stealing something that Billy wants in Lily. I think that's very possible. But so Billy and Sally and Adam and Lily, what would that be like? And Leslie, this would be really good if we kind of found out that both couples were cheating on each other at the same time. Ooh, if Y&R is taking notes, if Y&R is listening anywhere, that's kind of good and salacious. Can we put in an order for that? Double affair? That's good. It's so bad. It's good. Well, Gary says, I am not loving me some Billy, and that Hamlet act into his recorder is the most self-indulgent thing I have ever seen. If it weren't, Gary, for the fact that he kind of wrapped it up and brought it to a good place on Friday, I would have probably leaned stronger on, this is self-indulgent, yes. I think it's only the fact that it got pulled out of the self-indulgent tailspin on, I guess it was the Friday episode, that I was able to really process it. I think that I feel like, even though I didn't like the recorder part, I think it's weird. I do think it's weird that he would even bother to record it. But at the same time, I feel like it just signifies some kind of change in Billy, and so that's why I'm for it, not necessarily for it on the surface. But I love your Hamlet reference here, like Billy. It's, oh my goodness, instead of walking around with the skull, he's walking around with the phone. So good. Well, let's do some more psychoanalyzing of Billy here. Herman says, secretly, I believe that Billy's dissatisfaction and quest for revenge is only the tip of the iceberg of a deeper issue he has with self-sabotaging himself because he's afraid to be okay with his lot in life. He is afraid to be just mediocre, to be run-of-the-mill, so he keeps plotting and planning, tilting at windmills to give himself causes to fight against. To put it simply, Billy can't sleep because he's not happy with who he is at his core. Yes, I think that's a very apt assessment, Herman. He can't sleep because he's not happy who he is, with who he is at his core, and it's only through working on that, realizing what it is that he doesn't like about himself and just changing it. That's the only way for him to really be able to move forward. But I also just really like you digging into this idea that Billy is someone who's probably always afraid that he doesn't measure up. He had this great father that everybody just loves, and it's sort of the same thing that Jack deals with on that level too, but then Billy can compound it by also saying, he also has this brother, Jack Abbott, who everybody loves and is a larger than life role, and maybe deep down Billy is afraid that he's just not that great of a man. Diana says, I think Billy having difficulty sleeping may stem back to Delia. Billy was talking out loud to himself about his feelings and what may be triggering his sleepless nights, and he mentioned about the loss of Delia and his hatred for Adam. Billy was telling himself that he needs to let go of this obsession with Adam and how unhealthy it is to harbor these negative feelings. I think Billy will dig deep down into his psyche and realize that his anger toward Adam is really the anger and resentment that he feels toward himself for leaving Delia alone in the car. Billy once admitted that he regretted leaving Delia alone in the car that evening, and as the audience already knows, Billy's the one at fault for what happened to Delia that tragic evening. I really hope Billy has this epiphany so that he'll be able to forgive Adam and move forward in his life with a positive attitude. The feud with Adam can finally be over and done, and Billy can then focus on his life with Lily and their children. Yeah, I think this is totally true. This is totally true, Diana. And this would be the ideal solution in my mind, too. Why not let, the podcast idea is great, but why not let Billy do some work with children? I'm not saying Billy has to turn into Mother Teresa for crying out loud, but, give us the impression that he's channeling his feelings about Delia's death in a healthy way, that he is owning his own his own role in Delia's death in a more healthy way. Well, speaking of podcasts, Sherrod says, so let me understand this. Y&R's going into the podcast business? Allie, Billy is trying to take your job. It seems that Billy wants to do a podcast that will center around wellness that will include mental health. Yeah, okay, I just have to pause here because you're right. Billy is stealing my gig. Y&R Chat has been helping me through my mental health issues for like 14 years now. So Billy's just jumping on my bandwagon. But Sherrod continues, I can see a tie-in to Noah a mile away. Noah is going to continue to lose his mind over wanting to be with Tessa, and in a need to control those desires, he will be reaching out to a podcast. Okay, I just need Noah to go off the rails. That is a pretty darn good assessment, Sherrod, that maybe Billy is going to create, a space that Noah is going to feel compelled to reach out to try to get some help for himself. That's a really interesting connection. Huh. Well, Victoria says Noah seems headed for an alcohol addiction story. He's being secretive and deceptive and isolating. He's internalizing his feelings when others notice or offer help or company. He gives them just enough to ease their concern. Grandma Nikki may have to be enlisted to support him. I wonder if Faith will be the Newman who can reach Noah. Yeah, that's interesting. An alcoholism story for Noah. We're certainly seeing him drinking a lot. That would certainly be something that Billy would be able to help him with. Or, as you say, Faith has been through something recently. We've also seen Faith doing a good job of being the one to reach Noah. But Grandma Nikki, I don't know. Grandma Nikki may be off the wagon with all of the champagne that she has been drinking lately. Last week she was celebrating the merger with the champagne. This week she's celebrating Valentine's Day with the champagne. Of course, you know, soap fans can't be satisfied, because if the last 2 weeks in a row the waiter would have said, "And here's your non-alcoholic champagne," I probably would have been sitting here saying, "Oh, do they have to mention that every time?" They can't win. I suspect they know that, though. Naomi says, my adult children wouldn't welcome all the questions about their relationships, drinking habits, and anything else I might not agree with. As long as Noah is functional, his parents should step back. A part of growing up is finding ways to cope with the disappointments in life. Some eat, some drink, some recreate too much. Alcohol works temporarily from some, for what I've observed, but he's running his life as best he can at this moment. If drinking and moping no longer helps him cope, then and only then will he make the changes. Yeah, he's trying his best to cope on his own right now. He definitely does not want any help, and who knows if he's going to, be able to reach out and ask for it. But certainly I think that he's probably not wanting the advice from his mom and his dad. But from the larger plot perspective, it does seem like Y&R is using Noah's situation, Noah's depression. We don't know exactly how severe it's going to get, but they're kind of using this as a vehicle to unite Nick and Sharon, and I think that's probably the point of it all, right? Oh, Ellen says, Ray expressing regret about not having children while Chelsea eavesdrops. Is this a new story direction? An affair and a pregnancy? Perhaps? Oh, so you think Chelsea and Ray might have a one-night stand and she might get pregnant. That's totally it, Ellen. That's totally it. I hadn't thought about that in that way, but I think you just nailed it. Oh, Ray's gonna get Chelsea pregnant. I'm kind of happy for him. I'm kind of happy for him. I want Ray to be a dad. I want Ray to get something good. I want Ray to get something that he wants. Oh, but Gary says, my dream is for Ray Rosales to be the biological father of baby Dom, bringing his empty life full circle. That could be true, too. Maybe Ray is Dominic's real father. I think it's Connor. I think we got to make it be Connor. That's where the real story is. That's funny. Well, Herman says, Y&R finally gave me something soapy to smile about this week. Chelsea dreaming about Ray and then waking up all shook up. That scene was soapy goodness. For me, that scene indicates that Chelsea did not know that she was falling for him, and it shows that she actually has genuine affection for him. Love it. I'm glad that they did this scene because it gives me the bliss to root for Chelsea and Ray. Now, don't get me wrong, Chelsea has not changed one bit, and Ray is an idiot for thinking that she did. I can't wait for Ray to realize that he has feelings for Chelsea. The road to that discovery is finally going to give our beloved actor something to sink his teeth into, and this is going to be some good soapy romance. Oh yeah, I'm for it. Diana says, I loved the dream scene Chelsea had in her hotel room with Ray coming in and kissing her. Ray looked hot in his black t-shirt. I would like to see Ray and Chelsea hook up for a little while. It would be fun and exciting as Ray and Sharon don't seem to have very much chemistry anymore. I must admit, my most desired love interest for Ray is still Victoria. Ever since we saw Ray at Victoria's office a few years ago, it has piqued my interest to see them have a romantic connection. But having said that, I realized Sharon and Chelsea seem to share the same interest in men. Adam, Dylan, Nick, and now Ray. This is an ongoing pattern. That is really good, Diana. I can't believe you plucked that out. It's so true. Sharon and Chelsea basically share the same guys. Adam, Dylan, Nick, Ray. Totally true. Also, I just have to give some love to Ray in his black t-shirt in that dream scene. I mean, he looked like a leading man. The way he moved his big hunky body over to the couch in the black shirt, his biceps looked all like pumped up. He just looked like a leading man. He looked like a soap star. It was right. It was just right. That's all I can say. Y&R's really made a good decision here. Daisy says, I think Chelsea sees something in Ray that she's never had before. Stability. I can see them as a couple. Sharon will be so hurt and mad, you would think. But the big question is, when her husband turns his head in Chelsea's direction, will Sharon fight for him? Or will she quietly hope that he leaves her so she can pursue Adam? You know, that is a good question. I think Sharon's going to fight for her marriage. I mean, you can see that Sharon's already trying to lay it on thick. Did you see the way that Sharon put a big, extra big kiss on Ray this week after we know she saw him being friendly with Chelsea? So I think Sharon's trying to go out of her way to make Ray feel extra loved. He had that conversation with her about family. I think she knows. I think she's trying to appease her man. I think she is going to try to fight to save her marriage, but I think it's interesting that you think that when or if, I don't know, Ray and Sharon break up, that you think the path is Sharon headed back to Adam. It just seems like all signs point to Sharon going to Nick. What do you think it'll be, Chatters? If Ray and Chelsea hook up, and I mean, it may be very well down the line, but if Sharon becomes single, who's she gonna go for? Adam or Nick? Or maybe that's the point. Maybe by then we'll be in a triangle with them. Well, let's talk about homes. Because Sherrod says Tessa and Mariah should have bought the penthouse. They have plenty of money, and I'm sure Devon would have given them a deal. Tessa works for him, and he owns the building. I would love to know what's going to happen to that penthouse. You know, here's the thing. So I think I would have rather, I think Tessa and Mariah should have bought the penthouse, but they should have redecorated it. Because the way it's decorated and the way it looks right now definitely wouldn't meet Tessa and Mariah's style. I think that the coffee house is closer to what their style might be, or the apartment above the coffee house, but it just doesn't have like the luxury that they probably should have. I mean, Tessa's a star, right? I mean, Mariah has a good job at Chabot. They definitely seem like their wealth level should be higher than the little apartment upstairs, which I could have sworn they said was, I think it's got bigger. I feel like it started off as a little apartment. It's still got like, dirt on the door. It's got cracked paint. It's designed to be a little more lived in, a little more homey. It's supposed to have a little more of an urban feel to it. But I think that Tessa and Mariah have reached a point in their careers where they could have used something a little more upscale. But as far as the decorating goes, I think that the coffee house apartment is cuter. It's definitely cuter. Let's see. Well, and then I had another comment here, but I think I messed it up. So who is going to buy the penthouse, or is the penthouse just gone? It does feel like the sets are in flux. We don't have any Chancellor Industries for some reason. I thought that was going to go away, but then we saw Chancecom turn into Chancellor Industries, and now that office isn't there at all. So Chancellor Industries is gone. The penthouse is gone, but the Crimson Lights apartment is up. I just don't know. It seems like something's going on with the sets. Are they making room for some kind of celebration party? Are they making room for something? I don't know. The other question I have is, did Crimson Lights just get an LED menu board? I have to toss this out to the crowd because, I don't know, it could be new or it could have been there since the remodel, but if you look up behind the counter at Crimson Lights, there's now like a TV screen that shows your drink options on it, and I don't remember that being there before. Maybe they're just filming up a little higher and it was always there, but I'm curious to know if anybody else has noticed that recently, and we gotta zoom in on that and see what exactly the drink options are, and then all determine what it is we want to order today. Okay, let's talk about Chance. Let's talk about last week's poll question. I asked you guys what Chancellor's approval rating should be, and 57% disapprove of Chance. 43% approve. I voted disapprove. I think I would still vote disapprove this week, but he's inching closer back to me, but still disapprove. And Sherrod agrees, saying, I said it previously on the chat, but Chance seems a little too gleeful when giving up custody of Dominic. It's like he's saying, I'm not going to fight too hard for a baby that's not really mine, and I had no choice in the matter of who the donor will be. It's not a good look on Chance. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be, but it's just not. And Ellen says, why would Chance leave Abby alone when their infant is sick? His priorities are very screwed up. I guess the adrenaline rush of a stakeout and potential arrest is more important than his family. Yeah, I mean, he learned that lesson in the end, but I definitely was cringing too. Like, what, you're gonna leave? I mean, you never know. If a child is sick, he could take a turn for the worse, and then where are you? Are you reachable? It's tough because I keep going back and forth between thinking, well, Chance needs his life. I mean, Abby can't just force him to stay in the house all the time because she's afraid of something happening to him. But yeah, it's strange timing. If Dom wasn't sick, it would have been a different story. But the child was sick. What are you doing, Chance? Marianne V says, I know Chance has PTSD, but the man is weak. He doesn't care about being a father. He was all too happy to have Devon take over. He needs to stand up because the upcoming blood test will most likely prove that Devon isn't the bio dad after all. Yeah, I mean, Chance was definitely saying, the doctors say everything's okay. And even when he was reassuring Abby, he was saying, well, I mean, Devon left. If it seemed like anything was wrong, Devon wouldn't have left. As if Devon is the ultimate guidepost of fatherhood and knowledge of everything when it comes to the baby. But, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. He's in a tough spot. He came back to a life that he didn't exactly recognize. Sue W. says, I approve of Chance, meaning I like his place in the story, and I find him believable in trying to live his truth while struggling with PTSD. I didn't like him just disappearing after he and Abby were married, but that's Abby's problem, not mine. She moved past it, and so I have to too. But I now cut Chance some slack. Seems like he's trying to do right, yet stay true to himself amid all the ups and downs. Right or wrong, I see Chance's choices as made with good intent, regardless of my agreeing with them or not. Oh, that's very fair, Sue, that they're sort of made with good intent. I don't think Chance has any malice. He doesn't want to hurt Abby. He doesn't want to hurt Dominic. I think you're right that he moves forward with good intent, even if his ideas are something that I don't necessarily agree with. I wish that Y&R were maybe showing Chance getting some help. I mean, we keep seeing the PTSD coming up. I think we need to have Chance get some help for that. When are we going to get there? Are we going to get there? Well, we have new Chance. We have new Ashland. Let's see what Gary says about this new Ashland. Gary says, first impression is that I would cast Robert Newman as Ashland, but he seems sinister and lacks the intriguing subtlety and likability of Richard Burgi. Beyond the script, we know this Ashland is bad. Richard Burgi had more charm, and we see how Victoria fell under his spell. The new not-so-vulnerable Ashland promises the Loch Ness Monster who never materialized under Burgi. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that really nails it. Robert Newman is going to give us the Loch Ness Monster, but can he give us the sweet underside, the soft underbelly of Ashland Locke? Can he give us that too? It's going to have to be more than roses and a necklace. Gonna need more than roses and a necklace in coming weeks. But it's only been a week, so I gotta be fair to him. Daisy says, I'm not sure if you watched any of The Guiding Light, but I would love to see Kim Zimmer portray someone that Ashland knows, maybe even as a past love. Kim Zimmer and Robert Newman were on Guiding Light together. They played Reva Shane and Joss Lewis, a very popular on and off couple over the years. Well, anyway, I'd love to see them on Y&R together again, even if it's just for one episode. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. In the past, I did not watch Guiding Light, but at the same time, I watched the CBS soap, so I would flick through, and I could, I recognize his face. I can picture Josh and Reva right now, and I think you might get your wish. I mean, I honestly would not be surprised at all if bringing Kim Zimmer on to Y&R, or at least even for a little bit of a role, happened. I mean, I really, really think Y&R is going to want to grab all of the ratings that they can from this and milk it for every viewer that it's worth, and that would be a way to do it. And they probably should do it. They probably should do it. Get some eyeballs on this show, I mean, and Robert Newman's going to be a very big draw for Guiding Light fans, and I mean, if they put Kim Zimmer into that equation, even if temporarily, that is going to be, they're going to knock it out of the park. They're going to get so many eyeballs from that. Oh, well, let's talk about recasts. Leslie says, can we have both Ashlands? Both Ashlands, both Phyllises, and both Billies. And yes, also 3 Adams. You want the Miller and Thompson Billy, and all 3 Adams, both the Phyllises, Gina and Michelle, and then both the Ashlands, and also both the Jills, Brenda and Jess. And yes, bring back Terry Lester from the dead and have them both as him and Peter as Jack. Oh, goodness. I love that idea. Is there any way we could just have them all? Sue W. Yeah, or Leslie asked, is there any others that you can think of where can we just have both, like the original and then the recast? And Sue W. says, I'll throw Heather Tom and Amelia Heinle into the mix. They're both amazing actresses who perfectly served as Victoria as she evolved. Yeah, I think that's really true. I love them both. I mean, with the Phyllises, yeah, I wish we had both of the Phyllises. Definitely. We've had some good Billies. David Tom, I really loved. Billy Miller, Jason Thompson, even, yes, Burgess Jenkins. I mean, we've had some good recasts where not only is it just a recast, but it's something that has moved forward the evolution of the character in a different and maybe unexpected way. You know who else was a pretty good recast? Nikki! It's funny, isn't it, to think that Melody Thomas Scott wasn't the original Nikki, but now here we are all these years later, and I almost can't imagine anybody but her being Nikki. Well, happy almost Valentine's Day, chatters. I hope there is some roses and some champagne and some stupid heart balloons in your future tomorrow. Just embrace it. Oh, what do you think? Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments for the week. I can't wait to hear from you guys. I think my voice finally got better right at the end of Y&R Chat. It's just so dry here. And I do more talking on Sunday than I do the entire rest of the week. So I think my voice is always a little bit rusty going in, and then by the end I'm like, oh, I'm chatting up a storm. And I'm going to be back next Sunday to chat up a storm again. I love you guys. I'm going to have my eyes on the show this week, and I hope you do too. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.